Good morning, my name is Elise and I am totally obsessed with my luxury garden. Come along with me today as I harvest watermelons and we're going to cut into these and see how they turned out. Before I cut these, have a look at this video as I show you some tips on how I knew these were ready to harvest. Before we get into the part where I'm outside harvesting these, I just wanted to give you a little bit of information about growing watermelons. A couple of things is that they need full sun, which is at least 6 to 8 hours of sun per day. Even more than that is better. And they require a lot of space and a lot of water. If you want to be technical, you need about 2 inches of water per week. I don't really know exactly what that means, so I just water my fruits and vegetables usually once a day on a timer for about 30 minutes. Before I had a timer, I would just walk around and moisten the area with a watering can or a hose once per day in the evening usually, just because that was convenient for me. I just directly planted the seeds into the soil in the middle of summer. I believe it was early July, so I actually planted the seeds for these very late. I just had space left in my vegetable garden where my blueberries, strawberries, and flowers are, and I wasn't quite sure what to do with that, and I had these seeds that I just bought on a whim, so I decided to throw these into that veggie bed along with those other fruits and flowers. So as I mentioned, these were in a bed with flowers. They were in with snapdragons and marigolds, and watermelons require pollination in order to create fruit. So this was a beautiful tactic to encourage bees in the area. Now that these have been picked, they will not continue to ripen. It's not like a tomato or anything like that. So I'm going to cut into these right after we get into the harvesting portion of the video and see how these have turned out. Just want to quickly show you this watermelon plant, and I'm going to be harvesting it soon, but not quite yet. I'll show you how I know that. This is the piece that connects the watermelon to the vine. This is the vine. This is the connector piece, and across from the connector piece are these, it's hard to see right now because there's a lot of strawberry plants in the way, but there's this like spindly piece across from the vine, and it's still really green. So that tells me that it's still growing. So we're going to leave this, although it's pretty big as my hand, but it's not ready yet. I'll show you in a couple of days or weeks what it's looking like, what the difference is with this spindly piece, so you can see how it changes. Here's another one just a few feet away, and you can see again, this is the vine right here. This is the piece that connects it to the vine, and then this little spindly piece here sticking out is still green. So again, although this is getting quite big, it's still not ready yet, so we're going to wait a little longer. Some people say you can find out if it's ready by knocking on it and hearing the sound, but I'm not quite sure about that. I wouldn't know what to listen for. So I'm back out in the garden looking at my watermelon. This is a couple weeks later, and they're getting quite big. I have 1, 2, 3, another one over there, 4, and one here, 5, maybe even more hiding underneath that I don't know about. But I just wanted to do an update on whether or not they're ready, and as you can see, this is all still pretty green. It's looking good, so they're not quite ready to pull yet. See down here too, this one is still green. The only problem is I did plant these late at the start of the season. I did not plant them when it got warm. I was behind on everything this year because I was installing beds and drip lines. So I started these late, and it's starting to cool down and we're just starting fall. So watermelon do well in heat, and I'm worried that these are going to die off if I don't pull them too soon. So I'm going to wait a little bit longer because they still look healthy, and then I'm going to harvest them, and I will show you how that goes. But right now I'm gonna wait a little bit longer because we're not going into our freezing temperatures yet at the time of me filming this. So I'm gonna try leaving them to grow and develop a little bit further first. Actually, I was just looking around and I found another one, a sixth one that I couldn't see before. And again here, quite blurry, there we go, still quite green, but this one is really big. It's bigger than my hand, so that might end up being the first one to be picked. And there's a little a ladybug. Flowers are also looking good, and we're just starting fall, so I'm super happy that my garden is still growing and looking fabulous at this time of year. So here we are again outside in the garden. It's several weeks later now. It's getting cooler outside, and when I look down at this spindly looking vine, I don't know the technical term for it, you can see it's no longer bright green. This is the vine here. This is how it is attaching to the vine, and then this is the other end of it. It used to be bright green, sort of looking like this one here, this twirly looking thing, but now it is brown. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this off. I'm going to take it inside and open it up and see how the flavor is. Nice. Wow, this is actually very heavy. I am super excited about this. So we're gonna go inside and have a taste. So this is the one I just cut. I'm gonna do this one as well because here again, this is brown and looking dead, and it has just rained. It's getting cooler outside. Fall is upon us, well into fall. So I'm gonna cut this one, just using scissors today. And these two are gonna come inside with me. So we're back inside and I'm about to cut into these watermelons. And just a couple of tips on storing watermelons. They'll last inside for about 10 days. And once you cut, if you don't cut them, and then once you cut into them, about 4 days in the fridge, but you'll wanna use saran wrap. I feel nervous. This was my first time growing watermelons. So let's see what happens here. Eek! I hope this wasn't a fail. Oh, well, it looks pretty good. That looks awesome. So in future, something I would do differently is start the seeds earlier. I didn't start them until July, so I'm not sure they had the full amount of time they needed. But because of the cooler weather that has started, I needed to take them out anyhow before they die. Taste test. These are really good. The color's not as bright as I would like to see, but that's my own mistake in waiting too long to plant these. It still tastes really good. But next year the plan is to start them earlier so they have more time in the heat. But this is a success. I'm super happy. I can't believe it turned out so good. And now, of course, what I'm gonna do is take these seeds, dry them on some newspaper, and save these seeds for spring. I'm so happy these have turned out. I hope this video inspires you to grow some watermelon of your own. And honestly, it was so easy. Planted the seeds in July. I didn't fertilize them. I just watered them and let the heat and nature do its thing. So I hope you learned something in this video and enjoyed it. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already, and have a great day. Happy gardening!